Glad you can be with us while we're looking at the Word. John chapter 15. We'll do verses 20 and 21. But the first thing I want to talk about is kind of what we talked about in the last one, that God doesn't want to just save us, and He doesn't just have stuff for us to do, but He wants to know us. He wants a friendship. He wants a family. He wants love. Once again, the Hebrew men, some of them still do it, they would wear on their head and on the back of their hand, love the Lord your God. That's what He wants. And we're supposed to love each other, and the world doesn't love us because we're an indictment upon them. But way back in the Old Testament, in Hosea chapter 6, verse 6, he says that He requires the knowledge of God more than sacrifices. What they were doing with Hosea, this was a prophecy like in the 700s BC, northern 10 tribes. They were doing a whole lot of sacrifices in the temple and going through all kinds of religious ritual. And He said, I delight in loyalty more than sacrifice, and in the knowledge of God more than burnt offerings. In other words, there was no relationship. They were just kind of going through the motions. Reminds me of a daddy that would always say the same prayer right before they would have their supper, which you ought to give thanks before, And one time he just lit into something that he really liked, and his 4-year-old son said, Daddy, you forgot to talk to your plate. Yeah. Sometimes that's kind of what's going on. They're going through the ritual, and you can sing the songs and say all the right religious words and stuff, but God wants you to relate to Him, because the rest of the world isn't going to do it. All right. So here we go with the passage. Remember the word I said to you, a slave is not greater than his master. If they persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they kept my word, they'll keep yours also. But all these things they will do to you for my name's sake, because they do not know the one who sent me. We're created to know God, and people who don't come to God the Father through Jesus Christ the Son do not know God. And they have no relationship that's worth a hoot with God's people. And Jesus went so far in the Beatitudes to say, blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake. Theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Matthew 5:10. One of the evidences that you really are a believer in Jesus Christ is the right people don't like you. Have a great day.